Hi there. As always, these are my perspectives, and all I do is suggest that you would consider the possibility. Okay, so with that being said, uh, I'm going to talk about paint a scenario, and basically, you do with it what you want. Okay, let's just say hypothetically, we are all multidimensional beings. Okay, for sake of conversation, let's just say that these are agreements. This is a given. Okay, we're all multidimensional beings. And question asked then, okay, we're multidimensional. We're here in the 3D. We exist on the 4D, 5D, all the way up. I had this all worked out in my head. Now all of a sudden I'm drawing a blank. Let's just say, because really the title of this, I already got the title made before I even, it's basically your fifth dimensional mind. What is your fifth dimensional mind? From my perspective, it's your imagination. Simple as that. Transitive law of equality. If A equals B and B equals C, then A equals C. If if the entire universe is unity consciousness, all one simultaneously, and you exist here in the universe that's all one simultaneously, then all of your selves are in the universe simultaneously, in the unified universe simultaneously. So remember when we're kids and if you've never been told this, you've at least heard of it. Quit daydreaming. Get your head out of the clouds. Uh, as kids, our imagination ran rampant. Well, consider the possibility that when we incarnated, we're brand new to this quote 3D matrix construct, whatever, and our consciousness is still more connected to the higher dimensions, even though we're here and we're looking around going, what's up? But we're still conscious and we haven't been culturalized and indoctrinated into the 3D to the degree that we are as adults. And we all know that it's an ongoing process, the culturalization. So that's why you hear as kids, kids always have imaginary friends. They see things that adults don't see. They know things and are aware of things that quote adults aren't because their mental filters of their mental body aren't really quite set yet. They haven't been defined, and the parameters of the mental filters haven't been set. So as little kids, we're pretty much open to pretty much anything. We don't have all these do's and don'ts yet. So we have a very vivid imagination. Well, if unity consciousness, if everything's one simultaneously, whatever you imagine exists because all things exist in oneness, unity consciousness, multidimensionally. All things exist simultaneously. So if you can imagine it, then it's real. It's like in the last video, I think it was, or a previous video, I spoke about when I first met Raluan and Zeal, my higher selves, and they identified themselves. And the next day, driving down the road, just tons and tons of veils were removed from my consciousness. Where I even phrased it in the video that if I could frame the question and ask the question, a veil was removed and there was the answer because everything's there. It's just I had to have the open mindedness enough to ask the question. And I was asking questions well outside of the third dimensional uh, parameters of my mental body. So just consider the possibility that your imagination is your fifth dimensional mind. It is aware of all things. It can perceive and interact with the unity of all things. Where, it's the same mind that you operate with when you're in the quote dream state. When you've parked your body and you've gone out and done something else multidimensionally, you're not confined to the 3D limits. Which is again why I always, always, always stress trust your data. And at one point I was considering titling this video Trust Your Data Part 4, because that's the underlying thing. You, the spiritual body, you have to trust your data, because your mental body is the one that's going to call bullshit. Because a lot of the data, like I said, a lot of the stuff that I've shared with you guys on this video, I've never shared with anybody else. But the antagonist has always been my mental body, which will always call bullshit on something that's outside of its parameters, outside of, its informational input, which is your five senses. Well, your imagination is outside of your five senses. So that data, your mental body can't compute, and it will call bullshit in its struggle and striving to continue to run the show. You have to put your foot down, and then you and higher self, big you, will, as you focus on, as you make a big deal about focusing through your mental body, I mean your spiritual body, as you make a big deal about focusing through your spiritual body, you will get more. The universe will see. All of this is connected. All of the things I say and have been saying are all happening simultaneously. UP22 works all the time. So as you do the rescinding of vows with the assistance of your higher self, the big you, your pictures of reality will change, because the universe will rearrange itself. And when you focus on doing the rescinding of vows, when you focus on that, making a big deal about that, it's like I said in the past video, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. You guys have to make the effort. You have to make the decision, not so much the effort, but you have to make the decision that this is what I want to do. This is the direction I in my consciousness want to head. And bigger self will start bringing that up. Because like I said, you don't have to do it, because you're not even aware of it. You can't know what you don't know. So larger self, who knows you better than you know you, will bring those unconscious vows to your consciousness, so that you can rescind them. And as you rescind them, then the pictures of reality and the veils start being removed. The pictures of reality change, organically change. The universe organically rearranges itself. It's not something you can do. The only co-creative aspect you have is through the illusion of free will, make the choice to participate. Boy, that came out really good. Thank you, Spirit. That really came out good. I like that. Another thing I wanted to share, while it just popped into my head, I'm going to share this. The newsletters that I don't have anymore, I have over the last 25 years since they were first published, and I've always had a copy up until, a year or so ago. I've always had a copy of all the newsletters, but, that's neither here nor there. What I used to do is go back and occasionally, when directed by higher self, the big me, I would sit up and I would reread them. And I would go, wow, that's some good stuff. Well, here's something Larry shared at the very beginning about that activity. He called it going to the well. And the analogy he used was a well. You live on your property and you have a freshwater, a well dug, and you've got good fresh water right direct from the water table. No pollution, no nothing. Good water. Well, that's your well. Or it's the well of the town that you live in. And that's where everybody gets their water. Their life giving water, life sustaining water. Well, you don't just go to the well one time, dip your bucket in there, and then you're good. You never interact with the well again. You generally interact with the well multiple times a day, if not at least once every day. You go to the well and you refresh yourself with that life sustaining water. Well, that's what Hilarious called going back to this data. Why, even since I've been doing this video series, I have at least twice gone through the videos from start to finish, sit up and watch them. And I'm going, yeah, that's good stuff. I'm going back to the well with the videos now, just as I used to do with the newsletters. I go back to the well and get refreshed. Because this data that's coming through, this isn't me, the mental body, Michael, that's just making this stuff up. And like that's why, like I said, I don't predict and control what I'm gonna say by an outline and notes and this and that. I just say what comes to me, what the big me is directing me as I'm channeling the big me as I'm talking to you. So this is my multi-dimensional me, all of me, and all of me is using this vehicle right now to communicate to you. So it behooves me to go back and listen to these messages, because like you just saw, this expression came out, and after it came out, I looked at it and go, wow, that's pretty good, because it was pretty good. So I would suggest that you guys, if it's yours to do, don't just look at these videos one time. Look at them over and over. Just like when you watch a movie or you read a book. That first time through, you get the surface stuff. Your mental body gets the surface stuff. But then if you go through it, because like I said, I've read The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings at least 3 times. Each one at least 3 times. I get more and more into it. I learn more and more every time I interact with it. Like with movies, I'll watch a movie that I've liked, and I watch it over and over. Not over and over simultaneously, but periodically I'll rewatch that movie and I'll get more out of it. Because, like with the movie, the first thing you do when you watch a movie, you see the surface. Okay, and you watch that. Second or third time you watch a movie, you pretty much know the storyline, you know the characters, you know the surface. So, what, at least my mind, excuse me, what I start doing is I start looking in the background. I start noticing what's known in the movie industry, the Easter eggs, the little things they have hidden, but you don't see them the first time. Well, that might apply here. I'm not saying that I'm hiding Easter eggs, but I'm not the one running this show. The big me is. So the big me, it might be land Easter eggs all over my expressions, what I say. I'm just consider the possibility, because like I said, I've watched this series at least twice so far, and sit back and go, oh, because this is this is an ongoing process. I don't know it all. I learn and I evolve moment to moment to moment, just like everybody else. I was given this assignment or the impetus to do this 4 years ago, but I didn't start until a couple months ago because it was now time to do it. So this data that's coming through, I didn't have this all planned out 4 years ago. The idea, the seed was just planted in my mind, in my consciousness, and it had to germinate and it had to grow in divine timing according to the divine plan, as all things do, And then organically, here we are. So again, back to consider the possibility that your imagination is your fifth dimensional mind. And again, more than anything else, I have to stress, trust your data because your mental body will call bullshit. I guarantee it. Does it to me all the time. And I have to stand my ground and go, no, who are you to say that that's not true? Because from my mental body, I can call bullshit on damn near everything I say. Here's an example. And I'm so grateful to my larger self for doing this for me. I share with you my eye. I have no idea what's going on. Technically, in the 3D, I have glaucoma, and I've lost the bulk of my sight to glaucoma. I'm technically been declared legally blind. Okay, I've shared that with you before. Well, okay, that's what I had to work with, and it pretty much sucked. Trust me, it absolutely sucked. And then about little over 2 years ago, when I'm laying out in the garden, and which I share is in my knowing, I knew I was in a multi-dimensional laboratory. I got a piece of data, and to this day, I still don't know what it means, but I'm so grateful for it. Your eyesight's being recalibrated. That's the data that I got. And if I didn't trust that, mental body go, what the fuck was that? Bullshit, No, I know to trust my data. And I am so grateful for that piece of data, because even though I don't know what it means, consider this. On the one hand, all I had to go with was, I'm going blind. And then it was and let me tell you this. My mental body just trashes me to no end. How in the world can you be so spiritual? How in the world can you expect somebody to believe me and you can't even heal yourself? I get that all the time from my mental body. That's one of the barbs it shoots at me all the time, which is one of the reasons why I believe that larger self gave me that piece of data about my eyesight being recalibrated, because it's information that's way, way, way outside of my mental body's parameters. My mental body does not know what to do with that. It doesn't even understand. Like I said, I don't even know what it means. I don't know what it means. Me, Michael, the spiritual body, but my mental body absolutely doesn't. Well, I'm so very grateful to Spirit, because Spirit gave me something, an option. I could have gone through life focusing, be just totally being aware of the 3D. That 3D perspective of you're losing your eyesight due to glaucoma, you're going blind. Woe is me. Or now I have an option. I can look at, by trusting my data, I can look at my eyesight's being recalibrated. And just trust Spirit, have the faith of a little child. No, I don't know what it means technically. I just absolutely don't know what it means. But I still use my eye drops, the whole 9 yards. But I trust my data, and I know it's been imparted to me that my eyesight's being recalibrated. So I can focus on that as opposed to the other. I'm going blind. Poor me, poor me. I don't have to do that. I have an option. I can hold my head up and go, my eyesight's being recalibrated. And I can say to my mental body, get to that. Call bullshit on that, because you don't know what it means. Neither do I, but you damn sure, mental body, don't know what it means. So I can choose whichever one I choose to focus on and make a big deal out of. And through the co-creative power of my consciousness, working with the entire universe, UP22 works all the time. I choose to focus on the fact that my eyesight's being recalibrated. And that's my sovereign divine choice. And thank you, Spirit. Thank you, larger self, for giving me that option. And I can more data, more information, more guard against the attacks of my mental body. So again, trust your data. I've been at this for over 25 years, and I still, me and my mental body, to a degree, go round and round. And this is the one right now it tries to beat me up on all the time. But you know what? I shared with you, or did I? No, I think that might have been in that deleted video. Anyway, I'm going to share with that. There's an aspect of my right eye that my mental body knows can't, it's so far out of its bounds that it just falls apart. It just can't even handle it. And I love it because my mental body does not run the show. Which is why, again, I admonish you guys, trust your data. Trust your data. Trust it, trust it, trust it. There's nothing outside of you that can call bullshit. Your mental body can't call bullshit. So your data, this goes back to your fifth dimensional mind, your imagination. Because you can have a thought, a feeling, a sensation, and you can go with that and you can focus on that and you can be thrilled by it, and your mental body can just, or have a piece of conscious data information come into your field, and you perceive it and maybe even understand it, and your mental body the first thing goes, oh, that's just your imagination, that shit's not real. Your mental body will always be there to call bullshit. It's not you, and it's not in charge. You are your spiritual body, and you, with the assistance of your larger self, you're in charge. Trust your data. Matter of fact, you might hear me say that every single video, because more than anything else, that's the key. Trust your data. Trust your data. Trust yourself. Trust you. Because you're not your mental body. Trust you. And trust the big you. The big you wouldn't give you information that was bullshit. Because the big you has your best interest in mind. The big you is aware of the fact that you're not your mental body, that it's just a tool to operate here in the 3D, but that you're a multidimensional being. You operate on all dimensions. Your higher self, your big you, is aware of that. Trust your data. I'm still going to title this Imagination, because I'm going to title this Imagination / fifth dimensional mind, or imagination equals fifth dimensional mind. But that's the truth. And you have to constantly be on guard of your mental body. Oh no, that's just your imagination. Well, yes, it is your imagination. See, it doesn't even know what it's talking about. It just flipped it 180 degrees, and it doesn't have a clue what it's talking about. It's calling bullshit on the real stuff. Your imagination is your fifth dimensional mind. So focus on your imagination, regardless of what the outside world tells you, regardless of what your five senses tells you, because that's the only data that the mental body has input on. Again, the Bible's definition of faith is calling things that aren't as though they are. That's your imagination. Calling things that aren't, that can't be perceived by the mental body, calling them real anyway. That's called faith. Trust your data. Trust your imagination. Make a big deal out of it. Any piece of data you get that makes you feel good, that uplifts you, that makes your heart flutter, that gives you a warm feeling, all of those things, that's the big story. That's the big story. I'm going to leave it at that. Blessings on your journey. I love you, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.